Hey there, it's Steve. I need to warn you about a situation I had. I can't tell you, I don't tell you don't do business with the guy I'm going to talk to you about, but I can tell you about my experience, and I can tell you need to be looked at as well, and they'll confirm what I'm saying. It seems like it's a common issue. The guy's name is Ted Fleisner. He runs Badger Corporation out of Lomira, Wisconsin, and that's an auction house. He has an auction house. It appears to be pretty big from the photographs online. He's got a couple receptionists. I called him and I said, hey, I got these good chainsaws, great chainsaws. You want to try to sell them for me? Blah, 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 blah. We worked out 0 payments except for when they sell. That's what's on the contract. So I sent him 2 shipments, plus or minus 38 chainsaws. I'll get the exact count based on the tracking numbers here in a little while. But he has not let me come pick up my chainsaws. He says, I can't sell them for your reserve price. They don't want to buy them. He's using proxy bid. Proxy bid doesn't seem to be perfect. You got to do whatever people do on proxy bid. They've been sold before, and it works, but it's a little extra effort for whatever that means. And he didn't sell these chainsaws, so he says, or so I've never heard. I told him I'm coming to get him, and he would never return my calls since August. And I made an arrangement with the secretary to come get him, and he calls me up in the morning on Saturday, cussing me out. My wife's laying next to me. He's just cussing me out, using the F word with every sentence. What's wrong with your fucking ears? You backdoored me. You can't make a arrangement with somebody that's not me, and you can't come to my property unless I say you can. Well, he's got posted business hours. He's got a posted business address. I try to get the sheriff involved as far as a standby. They'll do that for $65 an hour. They said, well, he has to agree to it. And I'm like, okay. So they called him, and he's not agreeing to let me come by the property. He's not giving me back my property. And he I don't know if he told him I owed him money, but he told me this morning, he's like, he said in a message, I'll get your storage bill ready for you, and then you bring the cash, and then you can pick up your chainsaws when you do that. And I pointed out to him, and I sent him a screenshot of his contract. There's no storage fees involved. There's no buyback fees. The secretary said, oh, there's buyback fees. I said, yeah, mine's marked 0 on my contract. And so then I called him with a friend in the background as a witness. And now he says he doesn't have the same number of chainsaws I sent him. He's like, oh, well, you can't come by and get him because you can't tell me how many you're supposed to pick up. You got to prove how many you sent. I'm like, okay, that's all tracking numbers. It's all tracking numbers. I'll get the tracking numbers. I'll have them. And I told him, I said, I'm going to have to dump a bunch of money on a retainer. So I did that, $5,000. So that's just the start. And attorneys are like, hey, we could sue him in state court, but then he might want it in federal court because you're not from Wisconsin, and then this and that. So we might sue him in federal court anyway. And hey, he's going to be responsible for attorney fees under the circumstances because that's a simple contract. And he's not giving you back your property. He's told you can't come to the property. This is an intentional tort. It's going to bust through his LLC. He's going to be held liable responsibly. He's going to be held liable for attorney fees. Of course, if I win, I got to prove my case. But it's really a shame that people are like this out there. And, the auction business, I've had only a few really good, successful situations selling chainsaws on auctions. And this is another negative experience. So I can't tell you not to do business with Ted Fleisner, with Badger Corporation. I can't tell you that he's, that all of the reviews are correct, but he's got a ton of 1-star reviews. Including a guy that says, I used to rent from Ted for 5 years. He raised my rent, or he didn't agree to it evidently, locked me out, and then he took this stuff and sold it in his auctions, the stuff that the guy that rented the place. And so Ted calls me up, and he's acting like, oh, you're going to play Mr. Tough Guy now. No, he's the guy that called me up, cussing me out, not giving me back the property. So it turns out, it's like, what's his motive for this? His motive for this is he and I entered in a good faith agreement and it just didn't work out. You don't have any more loss than I do on, I paid shipping to ship you all this product, and you spent time supposedly putting it online or proxy bid. You never sent me any time it was on proxy bid. I never saw him. But now he says that I didn't ship him what I say I did. So, okay, we'll go to court. But, I just want to tell the world my experience with Mr. Fleisner of Badger Corporation in Lomira, Wisconsin. So, be cautious. Be very cautious. Look at the reviews. All right. Take care.